Alright, what's going on, guys? So, in this video, I'm going to be showing you all the fastest Mauer Der Toten high round strategy. This is going to be the most efficient way to get to round 100 plus on Mauer Der Toten. You can do this just either with your friends, you can do it solo. It's pretty easy to set up, although there are a few things you absolutely have to have in place, and some perks you need to have upgraded, things like that, in order for the strategy to work. But I'm going to explain exactly the intricacies and the ins and outs of this strat. And if you absorb and follow this video, I think you guys will have absolutely no problem at all using this strategy effectively and playing Mauer Der Toten high rounds as long as you possibly want. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up if this helps you out at all. Make sure to subscribe also if you're brand new for more zombies videos. I have Easter egg guides and best weapon guides, things like that. But with all that being said, let's jump into how you do and set up this high round strategy. So as far as what you need for your loadout and the things you need on your character, you basically only need one gun for this entire strategy, and that being the original Cerberus. Of course, this can be obtained via the trials, the mystery box, or you can get it out of a guaranteed Easter egg out of the safe. If you guys don't know how to do that, I'll have an ultimate guide linked in the description that will show you how to acquire each and every single game. But assuming you know how to get the Cerberus Wonder Weapon, that's pretty much the only gun you need to have. You can run whatever else as a secondary. You're also going to want to make sure it's fully pack-a-punched, obviously, and then with your perks, I'm going to suggest that you get everything also fully upgraded. You're also going to strongly benefit from having Mule Kick fully upgraded, but not for the reason you think. It's not the benefit of having 3 guns that makes the strategy, possible with this. It's the fact that when you craft items at the table, you get an extra one if available. In order for the strategy to work, it depends a lot on resource management and your ability to get things off the table very quickly. You're also going to need to have Ring of Fire fully upgraded as well. If it isn't fully upgraded, the strategy simply will not work, as you will die by projectiles. The really nice thing about it, when it's upgraded, it's just going to nullify all of those things, giving you not only increased damage output so you can cut through these enemies like you're seeing, but also all of the Mangler shots, the Panzers, and even the Disciples will be blocked by that ring for that period of time. Now, let's talk about the rhythm and exactly how you need to manage your resources. So essentially, you have 2 different options that you can run for your tactical grenade, and depending on how much scrap you have, you can go with a Gersh device or you can go with decoys. The thing with Gershes is you can only hold ever one, right? It's basically a one-time use, but it will kill zombies, and it buys you time to do things, obviously, and collect resources. But the decoys will still distract zombies, however, it won't kill them, so you still need to find a solution for that. And Molotovs are also really good at generating more Ring of Fire and building that back, because it can be placed at the left and right barrier. Just as a side note, for some reason, the barrier on the left can be rebuilt, whereas the one on the right cannot, and it seems like the one on the right has the more volume of zombies generally, and that's also where your Panzers are going to spawn from. And every 3 or 4 rounds, Panzers will come out, so I'm going to tell you guys exactly how to deal with those, because those are the rounds that might give you the most trouble. You're also going to want to make sure you always, without a doubt, have a War Machine on standby, and if it's like not full ammo, don't be afraid to waste it and then just buy a fresh one, because your blue or your rare salvage, you're going to have a lot more once you're in the higher rounds than the green. That actually becomes more rare as time goes on, so you really want to manage your decoy grenades and Gersh devices properly. If you go down, the cost of self-revives goes up by 50 scrap every time, which isn't a huge penalty, but it can add up if you're downing a lot. Speaking of which, let's talk about what happens if you do take it down and how to recover. So if you're down in the strategy, if you're down at the end of a round, it's pretty unfortunate actually. If you're down mid-round, you want to throw a decoy immediately or a Gersh device, and then run straight through this area that I'm going to now. Buy armor if you need to, but head directly up the rappel and then go into the Wonderfist station on the left, and then buy all of your perks back, and then immediately go back to the strategy. Going down and losing your perks in the strat is definitely a bit annoying, but if you don't panic, it's actually a lot easier to recover than it looks. You're going to want to make sure you use your Ring of Fire in the back left corner. Ideally, this gives you the best line of sight to take on all of these spawn points. Now, when it comes to your drop cycle, one thing you're going to significantly want to avoid is insta-kills, and I'll explain why in a second. Nukes you should really only grab if you need to grab like ammo packs or salvage off the ground, if there's a tactical grenade or something, or you're near the end of a round, it doesn't really matter. Nukes will slow down your overall game time, however, but it will obviously clear the zombies in front of you, so it's a give and take. But the strong reason you want to avoid insta-kills, this will prevent your Ring of Fire from recharging, right? You'll be burning through zombies and getting kills, but you won't get credit for any of them. Now, sometimes things happen, and if you're in the event you accidentally happen to grab an insta-kill, don't panic, just keep using your Cerberus and do not touch your War Machine, because if you do that, you're pretty much screwed unless, you can waste off that insta-kill, and then after that, get enough kills to get your Ring of Fire or get another War Machine charged or something. But of insta-kills, generally speaking, you want to stay far away from. I know it's counterintuitive, but I promise you it's going to make the strategy a lot more smooth. Also, the efficiency of the strategy will depend a lot on your personal war machine efficiency. So they recently made a change to the game where war machines will now deal damage, and they'll scale up in the rounds. So you don't really have to worry about this damage falling off, or making crawlers rather. They pretty much always insta-kill. So it's a pretty dang good piece of equipment to use. And if you feel like you're at the end of a round, obviously you can be a little bit more liberal with your war machine. But the crucial thing is this is your main tool for recharging your Ring of Fire. Your Cerberus without it in this strategy, especially past round 55 when zombies are super sprinting, is not going to be enough to hold them back, and you will get surrounded. So you can run short trains, like just little small loops in the back of the room where the door is that's unopened, and shoot at least 1 to 2 war machines to clear out the horde and recharge it. If you're very, very efficient, you can recharge your entire Ring of Fire in like 2 shots. Another helpful tip, I generally recommend that you burn the rest of your war machine pretty much regardless of how much you have left in it ammo wise, just because it's worth getting a fresh one for each and every single round. They don't cost that much rare salvage at all, and as I was saying earlier, and once you get into a high enough round, that's not going to be a problem. You'll have like 4,000 to 5,000 if you're managing properly, if you're not going down a whole lot. Once again, the trickiest part about it is decoy grenade and Gersh device management. It's the green scrap that becomes the very valuable resource, because in case you happen to maybe need to rebuild your armor, you can do that just outside of the room you're in. Virtually anything you'll need in this strategy can be found within like, seeing distance. The only thing you'll need to go out and get if you go down is perks, but other than that, they're really not that far away as well. Probably goes without saying, but as you're playing the strategy, make sure to never pick up one of those ammo mods, as those are just not going to cut it in this particular strategy. You always want to be on the base version of this wonder weapon. Now, let's talk about arguably the hardest part about this strategy, and that's what to do on Panzer rounds. So every 3 or 4, you're going to get an increased amount of Panzer spawns. Sometimes it's up to like 7 and 8 when you're in the high rounds. Now, they only spawn 1 at a time, which is a good thing, and it's also a curse, because you're not able to kill all of the Panzers in a single Ring of Fire use. I'll break down the way that I found to be a little bit more effective. Now, make sure that you absolutely have a fully charged war machine and, it's got enough ammo, because if you don't, you're pretty much screwed, and if you panic, you will definitely die. You also need to make the decision if you're going to use decoy grenades on this round or a Gersh device. Now, you can pretty much break it down that decoy grenades are going to buy you overall more time, and they're definitely cheaper on your resources, but Gersh devices will pretty much give you 1 guaranteed Ring of Fire. This will probably depend a lot on personal preference and just the general resource management of your current game. I really like Gersh devices if I can afford them, and I have like plenty of scrap to play around with. But if not, if you're going for the more economic option, then decoy grenades are probably going to be better. But of course, make sure you replace that war machine, and you'll likely start out with no Ring of Fire at the beginning of a round, and Panzers will start spawning in. So you can pretty much kill your first one just by using your war machine. Just make sure you maintain at least half of the ammo after that first Panzer, and you should be able to Ring of Fire the next 3 to 4 Panzers within this thing. The faster you kill, the faster you can get through them, because again, they do only spawn 1 at a time. If you happen to run out of war machine, you can throw a Gersh or decoys and quickly replace that, and then try to build Ring of Fire back. It's pretty much you use all of these things in synergy, and your goal is to rebuild Ring of Fire as quickly as possible. But the Panzer Soldats aren't too hard to deal with once you've got a good rhythm going on and you have like enough resources to deal with these, and I don't think you'll have many problems if you sort of kind of find that goal. But that's essentially how it works. I'm gonna let you guys watch the rest of the raw gameplay of this round so you can just kind of see how it goes on. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Decoy up. War machine hot. War machine, bringing it.